You're listening to Am I the Bolcast, the only Magic the Gathering podcast that you're listening to right now. It's me, Mike Carrozza. What's going on? I'm hosting again, as I've done every episode. Surprise, surprise. Joining me today is only one of our co-hosts. That's right, Michael Celani can't make it today. Shout out gamesfreaksa. Make sure to check out his videos and his channel, all the stuff he does. But today, we are joined, as always, with, the super genius producer herself. It's Morgan Sanchez. Hi, Morgan.
What's happening, Mikey? How you doing today, man? It's almost Friday.
Ooh.
Ready to get cooking with our special guest today. We've got somebody famous in the house, I think.
I'll tell you what.
Rock star.
Normally I don't like doing sponsor stuff while guests are around, just because so it doesn't. But this feels like the right time to have a guest around for the sponsors, because joining us today is Mr. CardSphere himself. Efren joins us today. Hey, Efren, welcome to the Bolcast.
Mike, Morgan, thanks for having me. Super excited. I listen to the Bolcast
really
whenever
pumped.
I do listen to Magic podcasts. I try to unplug from Magic usually when I'm done with CardSphere for the day, but I do really like the cast. It's a really fun idea.
I'm really happy you do. And honestly, buddy, let me tell you something. Thank you so much, because it's time for sponsor talk. Our sponsor our sponsor for the episode is, of course, CardSphere.com.
Wow.
CardSphere, get your cards here, baby. CardSphere.com.
Get your cards here. I love that. That's great.
We've been saying it, baby.
Yeah,
We've
that's
been
cool.
saying it every time. CardSphere, get your cards here. You better be getting your cards here. It's CardSphere.com. We've got a referral link in the bio, and I can't think of a better way to acquire the cards you need from whatever set is currently coming out, whether that's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set, or I don't know, maybe they somehow put Reality Fracture promo cards in the pre-release kits for the TMNT cards. Who
Or
knows?
Star
Whatever
Trek
Either
with
way.
TMNT.
Or Star
And we
Trek.
just do
Whatever you
crossover
happen to
anyway.
open in your packs these days. Well, it could be anything. You never know.
Get to trading them on CardSphere. CardSphere, where your cards are your wallet and then some. I tell you what, CardSphere.com. Make sure you check them out. Our other sponsor for today's episode, boneboxgames.com. Use promo code BOLCAST for a little something off your next order. They make amazing deck boxes and other accessories, but I won't stop championing their deck boxes. They're my favorites that I got. I look over to this side where I have all of them, and they're finally all occupied. I found a deck for each one. Really proud of it. And the new art that they've teased for the next one, beautiful. Gorgeous stuff. Really, really big fan of boneboxgames.com.
Is there
And now-
anything in the contract that we don't have that says
Yeah.
I can't tell Efren to buy a Bonebox box because CardSphere is our sponsor, Bonebox our sponsor? You know what I mean? What if we get a little sponsorception and I say, hey, Efren, buy a Bonebox deck box? Because you know what? They're really cool. The Decay deck box
They are.
to this day
I-
is still one of my
they're
favorite
beautiful.
deck boxes ever.
I hadn't heard of them until I saw the booth at MC Atlanta, and they have some really cool stuff. That's how I noticed them. I was
They're
like,
so
what is
sick.
this? Yeah, they're really cool.
They feel really nice. They're like, you pull them out, everyone's got like a real, it feels like it's not just the image of a card on a box. It feels like, this deck's got its personality.
Somebody
This
made
is like
this
a
for
home
me.
for the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels really good. It feels tailored to you. It's nice. I really like Bonebox Games, and that's why we're proud to have them as our sponsor, as we are proud to have CardSphere.com. Speaking of CardSphere.com, Efren, thank you for joining us today.
Very happy.
Before
to
we move on with the podcast, I want you to tell everybody who you are, what you do, what you want them to know about you. Do you want to remain an enigma? What do you think? Tell us everything you want to tell us.
You can look me up on socials or whatever. I don't really post much. I'm like just a lurker in every corner of the internet where I happen to be. So I'm mostly known for CardSphere, and I'm fine with that. If you want to know more about me, I work in software. I worked in IT for a long time, and then I started CardSphere while I was working IT, and then now I do this full time. So I'm pretty much,
Hell yeah.
I'm very much Mr. CardSphere. It was an apt username about Morgan. I just assume people get annoyed about how much I talk about it, because if you ask me about it, I'll go on about it for a long time. It's really
Well, we're
great. It's a
asking
really
you
great
about it.
community. A really great community. That's really what my favorite thing about.
You know what? I know CardSphere.com is great, but one of my favorite things about CardSphere is this hoodie I got when you guys started sponsoring us. I'll tell you that
We
much.
were just talking
I
about it
wear-
the other day.
I wear this fucking thing. Sorry, Ken. I wear this fucking thing constantly. I'm wearing this out. It is my comfiest hoodie I own. I wear it all the time. You know what? When Dockside was banned, that was the same day that Alan from Mental Misplay posted a video of me at Commander Sealed. We were, I think it was Commander Sealed. He was like, "What are your hot takes?" And I was like, "Ban Dockside." And it was like that day it dropped, and I had my CardSphere hoodie on, and I was like, "Hell yeah! Hopefully this does some numbers." Use the referral code for God's sake.
Yeah. What were you wearing when Dockside was banned? We all remember that day.
They're
right?
not going to believe this.
Yeah. Write in amithebolas@gmail.com if you remember what I was wearing my CardSphere hoodie, and I'm not sure. I might have also been wearing my my beanie, my yellow beanie from the band Virginity. It's a yellow beanie that just says Virginity, and I think I was also wearing that. If I wasn't, then who knows? Either way, great band. You should check them out. They're very fun.
I'm always curious, Efren, like, did you just wake up one day and like say like there's got to be a better way when it comes to CardSphere, or was this just like a dream of yours? Like what was the spark moment for you?
It was kind of like that. There was another website that kind of worked similar, and it just got worse and worse, and the service kind of got worse and worse. And there was like two factions of people. When I say factions, it was me and another guy, and then two other guys at the same time were like trying to figure out what to do, and we kind of found each other on Reddit. And we started our own subreddit, and it was birthed on the subreddit, and on Discord is where everything came out of. And it was just disgruntled customers that, wanted, we used to say that we made it so we can use it, but then now, I don't have time to use it because I I just get to watch everyone else enjoy it.
Yeah, you're seeing all the trades happen, and you're like, man, I did that. Wait, they did Spider-Man? Okay.
That's what happened to me the other day.
Nice.
Mike, I kid you not, before we started recording, I was joking how I didn't know that they had just reprinted Monomorphos until I saw it on CardSphere, and then I went and looked it up, and there's like, it's reprinted also with Storm on it, and I had no idea. I was like, oh, this is a Storm card now? Storm from X-Men?
It's reprinted on... Oh, that's right. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Yeah. I completely forgot about that. When it's a secret layer and it's a Marvel secret layer, I just completely had no idea that they did that. It makes sense. I guess it makes sense. I forget that Storm is... Often I think Storm being a card is pretty silly, but look, that card is a nightmare to play against if you haven't played against it yet. Excuse me, I didn't expect to be on a tirade about Storm. Man, this Marvel set, anything I've seen from this Marvel set has been very palatable and manageable, but the secret layers made it seem like they were all going to be a nightmare. I got to say, when I expected from Doctor Doom, when they previewed Doctor Doom, I was like, okay, well, this is the big bad from the thing? Yeah, sure. All right, whatever. I was expecting something f***ed up. Sorry, Ken. I thought Storm Force of Nature was just like a herald of things to come, and it wasn't. It just feels like overblown at this point.
You're telling me 2/3/3 artifact creatures aren't cool, Mike? Is that what you're saying? Come on.
No. I'm saying even if we look at the Grixis Commander deck one, the Doctor Doom King of Latveria. Look, it seems fun. It seems like an interesting enough card, but not busted in half. Whenever you discard one or more land cards, each opponent loses 2 life. Come on, Seismic Assault. You know what I mean? Like, all right, fine.
I do want the 2/3/3s then. You're right. That is better. That is better.
I mean, at the beginning of combat on your turn, target villain you control gains menace, and it connives. So there's some discard there. Every combat, I don't know. It doesn't feel cracked in half. It feels fine. It's not like... Anyway, Storm, I digress.
Storm.
That's enough. Storm. Enough. Anyway. Efren, you were talking about you don't really get much time to like interface with the game as much, but if you had to talk about your most recent Magic experiences, are you like, tell me about your preferred format. Tell me about what you love about Magic. Let's get into that.
Well, definitely Commander is pretty much the only way I interact with the game. I started with Standard a long time ago, returned to Ravnica, like Innistrad. A bunch of players came in. I was one of them. I came in right at the tail end of Innistrad going into Return to Ravnica. And I went insane with Standard. And people were telling me, don't do that because your cards are not going to be worth anything once this rotates. And I was like, come on, man. You're telling me Thragtusk is not going to be worth something forever? You're telling me, yeah,
It's like
Hunt
antique
Master of the
now.
Fells. You're telling me Hunt Master of the Fells is not like completely OP no matter where it's played. So I had
Oh my
like two,
God.
like 3 standard decks, one of them foil, and then like everything rotated. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. And that was right when I discovered Commander. So I've pretty much been Commander
is.
since then. And I started Commander around Tarkir block, and then I got back into Standard during Arena. And then the
Okay.
same thing happened to me because I was like one of the beta testers. And so I had all these cards and I was playing for like a year. And then when they launched it, I lost everything. And I was like, I'm not doing this again.
I forgot
So,
they did that.
yeah, so I never came back after that. I've pretty much been Commander only.
Who's the commander you reach for when you're like, it's game 1, I'm ready to play some Commander?
You know, lately, the deck I have the most fun with is Veto Thorn of the Dust Bros, which is just mono black,
sorry,
like
Ken.
kind of life drain kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's really my
Sanguine Bind
favorite.
on legs.
Yeah, and like, so, you know, my deck style is I love to find a, like when I say I'm building a deck, it means I've found a list on Architect or whatever, and I'm ruining it by putting all my favorite cards in, taking all the, taking any
Same.
card I don't personally
Same.
like, take it out and just put in
Mhm.
my pet cards, and then, you know, my games tend
Run
to
it.
dirtle, and I just like to hang around a while and kind of meddle and then lose is usually what I do.
Yeah, the losing part is what we mostly all do, I think,
Yeah.
for the most part. But yeah, definitely. I mean, heading over to, if you're ever in a rut, that's a very fun way to get to deck building, honestly. I really love finding out what's like popular on Architect and just like being like, okay, let's see what I can do with this commander.
How do I make
or,
this
like-
strictly worse? Is what I tell people, kind of how I play. But it's strictly
me
more
too.
fun. That's like the dichotomy, right? Because like
That's
I can't
like-
play the average list for most decks, or I'm gonna be bored out of my mind. Because like
I hear you.
we're playing the same cards, we're in the same colors, and I'm just like, oh my god, like I could just solo this deck. I could just goldfish this if I wanted this.
Let me tell you something. The only time I'm very excited to see many tutors in a list is when it's on Architect and I'm looking to like mess around with the list. And that's because immediately that means I have 7 or 8 slots that I get
Yes,
to mess with.
That's
Yep.
what I do.
I get
Yep.
to take out
I ta-
every tutor.
I take out tutors, I take out counter spells, I take out extra turns. I like all out of there because I hate playing with
Yeah.
them. So I'm just like, get out of here.
Yeah, they're not my thing. I'd rather play, hey, I'll play some different kind of removal. Counter spells I'm not completely off of, but for the most part I am. Like, I'll play a Mystic Confluence or Sublime Epiphany, but I won't play like an Arcane Denial. Come on, let's have some fun.
The only one
You
that I
know?
remember ever playing is, what's the white one? Is it Memory Lapse? There's one white counter spell where you put it back on
Memory
top.
Lapse.
Memory Lapse.
Yep.
That's the one I play. I have it in my Zerda, the Dawnbreaker deck.
Memory Lapse is the blue one, but
Which is the white one that
oh,
goes back on top?
Here's what I'm gonna do. Let me hit the Scryfall and I'm gonna copy and paste Memory Lapse's text,
Yep.
and it'll come up. Lapse of Certainty is the
There we
white
go.
It's
one.
another
That's so good.
lapse. A lapse is
Yeah.
a lapse.
I had a Memory Lapse for just then, so
That's right.
But that's what's fun about this is like I really love. My buddy has a Daxos of Miletus deck, like OG Daxos from
mono red
I
guy,
think it was-
right? Or
no,
I'm sorry,
no,
Azorius.
Azorius.
Yeah.
Azorius from Theros. Like literally just like I'm telling you, this card was like what? It was
the one that looks like Jason Momoa. He looks like Jason
2013?
Momoa. in that
Yeah.
one.
a little, right? Yeah, no, he's like 2013. 2013 command. This my buddy Lucas has been playing this commander for over a decade. 2/2 for 3. He doesn't touch it. He doesn't change anything.
I don't either. I
because
never
the
update
deck-
my decks.
Bless.
I update
Bless.
too much. I love updating decks. Like one in an
I'm the same
Azorius, legendary creature, human soldier. Daxos can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. Oh, you mean if I throw 2 plus 0 plus 2 on this guy, he's mostly fine? Awesome. Whenever Daxos deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library. You gain life equal to that card's converted mana cost until end of turn. You may cast that card until you spend mana. And you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it. Do you know how many times someone in my play group has played a bomb and then Lucas just hits it with a lapse of certainty and says, I guess I know what I'm up to next turn?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I love about it. Everybody
Unbelievable.
then knows what they're gonna
It's
do.
just so
Yeah,
fun.
that's what's fun about it.
And I think the last time this was reprinted was in New Capenna Commander for the Obscura deck, the Camise one, if I'm not
It was in
mistaken.
New
Yeah,
Capenna
it must have
Commander,
been
yeah.
because that's the only. Yeah, it was, and it was in the damage trigger one. They like the Saboteur theme deck, the one with Camise Obscura Oculus and Tivit Seller of Secrets. New Capenna Commander had a lot of bangers. I'll tell you what. Anyway,
Mad respect for a guy who
very
keeps the
fun.
same commander from a decade-old set. That could have been
Dude.
me if I were smart enough to tell the future and knew that I was going to have a career in the commander community. I would have kept my Aloro deck from 2013.
I still have my first
we're getting
one.
there. We're getting there.
Can I tell you? Let me tell you this. I'm about to pull up my list of current Magic decks, and I'm gonna bookmark it because I keep coming to this page and I always just like forget to do it. So I'm gonna bookmark it. Let me take a look at this list and see what the oldest deck I have is, because I just dismantled Prosper, and that was the one that I was like most known for. And okay, of course it's Lizolda. Lizolda I've had for like
the OG Dissension.
years.
Is it Dissension she's from?
I think
That's
so. Yeah,
like 05 girl.
I rarely take
Yeah,
apart a
baby.
deck. A deck has to be really bad for me to take it apart. I think I've only done one, and it was a Xancha Sleeper Agent deck that just never worked.
that you took apart.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, here's
Celani brewed one of those, and that's fun.
Yeah, I could never get it to work the way I wanted.
The thing is, like, I end up building too many decks, and then I'm just sitting on decks that I don't play, and I feel bad that I don't play them, and I have all these pieces. I'm spending money or trading stuff away just so I can get them, and then I don't touch them. What is this? No, thank
Sounds like
you.
magic.
So now I have 19 decks plus precons, and you know I'm gonna make some better decks of these precons at some point. But no, I definitely need to chill out.
Yeah, I'm gonna try this year to get rid of before they went insane with precons like they did with everything else. Well, I used to try to buy the set every year. You know, it was like,
oh yeah, same.
buy all 4 or 5 decks, sleeve them up, and you have like a little battle box. And they got so many of them, and so
it becomes unsustainable.
Yeah.
But I am doing so. The submission today might be a little bit more relevant to not just the person submitting it, but also to me. It's very apropos of something I'm gonna talk about as well. But the I'm gonna be pre-ordering the Strixhaven Commander deck so I could do the Thunderdome experience with like a friend of mine who did not want to play Magic because he knew he'd like it too much. And he finally did it. He's part of the group of friends that made the deal that if I sat down and watched all the Lord of the Rings movies with them, or even just the first one, that I could build them a Magic deck based on a character from Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
And I did that, and
Which
now
character?
he requested this guy Max, my buddy Max, decided, oh, I don't want it to be Lord of the Rings because he also plays a lot of D&D and has like a book for Ravnica, and he's like, I really like Simic, so build me a Simic deck based on Ravnica. And so I made him a Prime Speaker Zagana deck because I knew he would love it, and he does, and it is very strong. So now he's hooked, and it's fun. And it's pretty sick.
It cost them a lot of money. You just cost them a lot of money, Mike.
I really did, but I'm costing me a lot of money by telling him, don't buy the precons for Strixhaven. You will not want them. I will get them because I think it's a fun thing to do for my friends, you know? And you know, when you got a gig that pays you money to write about Magic, you spend that money on Magic. That's how it works, right? So I'm hoping to do that for my pals.
My paycheck is going. I just hit like a breakthrough here.
I got blinders, baby. It's tax season. I'm not talking anything. But all that to say, you know, it's fun to hear that you're just you rarely take apart decks. I really dig that. How
never.
many decks do you have?
I think like on Arc. I think so. I'm slowly going through and putting my decks onto Architect. Because I would just make them in like Notepad or something, and I don't have deck lists for them anywhere. That's what makes it really hard to upgrade them. So I probably have.
Looking off camera, counting them.
I probably have like 25 or 26 decks, not counting precons.
Honestly, that's we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
Similar
For
boat.
a while, I was like,
I'm-
once the precons got out of control, I'm like, I'm gonna pick one legend per set and make my own deck every set. I did that
That's
for a
what I was
while, but now
thinking.
there's sets every 3 weeks. So I'm
There's
like,
so much.
I'm
Yeah,
only
and
gonna
there's
get
so
one
many
every
cool
once in a while.
legends.
See-
Yeah, so now I just do it every now and then.
I laugh at you guys, but then I'm like looking behind me and I got this wall of precons and I'm like, I don't even know how to count that anymore.
I have
That's
a
like
whole
every
crate of
precon from
them.
the last 2 years. That's
Yeah.
got to be like what,
Mhm.
1,002?
But you know what I just realized like 2 weeks ago, Morgan, that
What's that?
the hardest thing about for me trading on CardSphere is keeping my inventory relevant. And I was like, whoa, if I start trading these precons, I could just get the deck list and just dump them right on the CardSphere, and then I have them inventoried already. And I can
Yep.
just keep them in the deck box and just pull them right out of the deck box. I know where they are.
That's a good hack. That's
what
that's
I'm
a good
trying.
hack.
That's what I'm.
That's a
That's what I
little
was gonna
bit of-
start trying to do this year.
Especially because there's
that's an
cards in
idea.
those decks that you can only get in the decks. So like people are
Mhm.
looking for those singles anyway. That's hella smart. I should do that for the ones that I don't even like, just to like.
I was
have
thinking
them
about
to
just
trade.
getting like,
Man.
yeah, I was thinking about just getting like the Final Fantasy decks and doing that because there's a lot of cards in the Commander decks that people want,
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
and that seems fun because you don't have to inventory it. You have the deck list, you just dump it on CardSphere, and you got them all inventoried. Start sending.
CardSphere
That's-
hacks, bro.
That's
Hell
what
yeah.
that's what I'm going to try to start doing this year.
That's fun. I just counted up how many decks I made last year because it's definitely been my most prolific year. I made 9 decks last year that I've sleeved up. I've taken apart a ton, but I've definitely made 9 decks, and I think that having them cataloged somewhere definitely will help pop them on CardSphere when I do decide
Yeah.
it's time to say goodbye to a deck. And I'm looking at this list, and right now I don't feel a strong pull from any of them to get rid of them. So I'm in a good place for now. But yeah, listen to this line. Get a load of this. All right. Bador Ancestor's voice from Dragonstorm. We got Bjorna and Sofina, so the Stranger Things pairing. My buddy said I always make the same deck, so I decided to make a deck that was a Jeskai attacking deck. F you,
All
Eric.
of my decks
Sorry,
are the
Ken.
same too. They're all Mardu or some
Yeah, I know.
Mardu bullshit
Mine
related.
are always a graveyard
Mardu or Mardu
strategy. I'm always
adjacent is what my flavor is.
Yeah. Why not?
At least 2 colors
that's
from Mardu are good.
Black is the best color there is, and black loves friends.
Mhm.
So I'm always playing black, or I'm not. In this case, I'm not. Eric, you really got me. So I got Bador, I got Bjorna Sofina. I built Golbez Crystal Collector from Final
Ooh.
Fantasy. Genova Ancient Calamity, also from Final Fantasy. I built Marchesa Dealer of Death last month from Outlaws at Thunder Junction, or I built it in 2025 and sleeved it up in 26. Niriv, Crackling Vanguard from Dragonstorm also. I built Sanar Innovative First Year, that's 2026 though. And then 3-Dog Ariete Secret Commandos using Zergo from Dragonstorm as well. So literally
Mardu
technically
girlies.
3
I
Dragonstorm.
love Mardu.
Yeah, 2 yeah. I'll tell you what, Zergo is a house. People are sleeping on Zergo for like, look, people poo-poo a command zone, like a precon commander, and they are wrong.
Some of the precon commanders are really good.
They are fun. Bananas. I'm looking at Fellow Thar Steadfast right now because I don't have like a big butts deck, and I think it's pretty fun. Come on now.
I only made 2 decks last year. You made 9? That's pretty good.
Yeah, I was in on the building. So I'm really digging it. But they're all going to be cataloged on like Architect or whatever, and definitely going to make it easier when it's time to say goodbye. And I'm looking at one of them that's standing out now, and I don't want to say which because I don't want to be held accountable for my saying it. But all that said, Efren, before we move on to the mailbag, I'd like to check in with you. Do you have a magic pet peeve or a story where you might be the villain that you'd like to share with us today?
You know, it's funny, Mike, because I don't know if you remember, I had what I thought was a great Am I the Bolas pitch, right? About me. All right. Fair, to be fair. And I was like, wait till Mike hears this one. He's not gonna be able to wait to chew into this and dig it. And you were just like, you're definitely the Bolas. What do you mean, man? He's like, no, you didn't even hesitate.
Yeah, roll it back.
Okay.
Yeah, roll it back.
So yeah.
I don't remember this, but I do remember thinking it'd be a good bit to tell anybody who's asking me directly if they're the Bolas that they are immediately.
Okay. Well, this time you did it.
Okay, hit me.
So,
What's the story?
Okay, I've told you my deck style, right? They're not good. I usually have 1 trick or 2 up my sleeve. Oh, and
Okay.
the deck will do something that I personally find satisfying, and then I don't care if I lose. But if people,
Totally.
if anything happens, the whole deck falls apart, right? It does nothing, right? So if I have like my pieces in place and I'm ready to do my thing, won't necessarily win the game, and then somebody ruins that for me, the whole deck is pretty much lost, right? I don't have any way of coming back, so I clap back as hard as I can against that person. And
Okay.
in the past, I've clapped back hard enough that in the next game, people
Okay.
are like, I'm not gonna mess with Efren's board state. And okay, so you're like, okay, yeah, I thought you might remember that. Yeah, because it's obvious
do
on the
remember
Bolas, right?
this.
That was my best one.
I remember. No, I remember this now. Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is, like, when it comes to being in a play group with people, you do want to make sure that you draw some lines to make sure that they don't mess with you when you're like, this is the one thing I've got. But when you've got the reputation of being vindictive at your pod for, like, hey, it's carrying over into the next game, then it's like almost like a new monarch thing, a mechanic, in the sense where, like, you know, you're cursed now. You're cursed into the next game. It's like an unset mechanic, or like a mystery event. The unknown event has a card like this or something for sure. But ultimately, you're playing a game, dust yourself off and go into the next one as fresh as you can. However, asterisk, if somebody shows up to your table with the same deck over and over again after you guys have talked about how oppressive it is and it sucks to play against, it's fair to target them first. You know, like, like, if someone keeps showing up at your table with Mirim Sentinel Worm after you're like, it's impossible to beat your dragon deck because by turn 4 I can't attack you with my Weenies deck, and all my removal doesn't work because it requires 3 extra mana. And in my mono white deck, I don't get there quick enough for that to matter. So, like, maybe don't play your Mirim deck against our less powerful decks. And that person's like, it's the only deck I know. You're like, okay, well, I'm going to attack you immediately. I am going, like, the rest, you know, it's fair to kind of, like, understand where the power is at the table and go for it that way. You get that sense the second someone flips over their commander sometimes. But if someone's like, yeah, I'm going to destroy your Great Henge, and you're like, next game.
You're dead.
Next game.
I don't carry it
look
over.
at me.
Yeah,
look at me. Next game.
No.
Next game. You look at me wrong, it's over. You're done. Oh, you're a graveyard player? Bajuka Bog. Guess what?
Yeah.
I'm going to Golgari
I'm not the one that carries
my own
it over. It's the
Bajuka
other
Bog,
people that
and
are
it's
like,
waiting
last
for
time
you.
Efren wouldn't leave me
It's
alone.
coming.
Because basically, and it's not that my decks are super strong. It's that they're not good. And so if you completely cripple my deck and I'm just slowly bleeding to death for the next 3 turns, then those whole 3 turns I'm going to be messing with you and helping other people if I can, because I'm on my way out and I want to make sure you also don't win.
It's the jury management problem all over again. I keep talking about this. Are you familiar with Big Brother, the show Big Brother?
I'm not.
Have you ever watched
Everyone tells me that I would like it, but I've never seen it because I'm very much a
do
reality
think you would like
TV person.
Yeah. I'm a big reality TV person. In fact, you know what? By the time this comes out, it'll have been a couple weeks. But Married at First Sight Australia started the first week of February.
Married at First Sight. That sounds like my kind of trash reality TV.
Australia specifically. I'll text you the details.
Text it to me.
Our podcast, Stay or Leave, that I host with my girlfriend and my comedian friends in LA. We do a Zoom podcast where we just discuss. That's right, all 4 episodes of the week. That's right. What is it? 1.5 hour long episodes, 4 episodes every week.
I'm there.
Is that too many? Not enough. The show is addictive and fantastic. I love it so much. Anyway, Big Brother is a show where you've got a bunch of people living in a house together, and every week there's a head of household who nominates people to be eliminated. And then there's, like, you know, a power of veto to change a nomination. And then the house votes to evict a house guest in order to be the final 2 of the house. And then the last 8 or so, I think it's 7, the final 7 to be eliminated are the jury. So they're sequestered into another house, and they only get the tidbits from the other players that are also eliminated after them. And essentially, at the end of the game, if you're the final two, that panel of people who have all been kicked out by you and this other person, they will have had to have played a good enough social game as well as strategic game to make sure that the people voting at the end pick them to win. There is one player who I think is one of the best players to ever play Big Brother, but people will argue with me that he is not because of his bad jury management, and that is Paul. Paul has played Big Brother for, as far as I know, twice. I stopped watching after 20 years of watching it. He played Big Brother twice, got to the end twice, did not win twice. The other person that he was brought to the end with him has always been someone that nobody likes, but likes more than Paul. Paul has done things that the jury have found underhanded, and therefore they don't want to reward Paul with the prize of several $100,000. And so, when you are somebody who gets your stuff messed with, and you have only one plan, and you go in after that other player did not take into account good jury management.
No.
And that's you can't, because it's all legal game actions, but you can't speak to the integrity of going after someone else, because ultimately you're still in the game. Your win is compromised, and therefore what's the new next win for you is that this player does not win, and if they lose, then you win. And so it's like, it is another element of jury management.
Yeah, for me, board politics are my favorite part of Commander. That's what I really like about it.
That's what we're playing for. I love an engine. I love getting my engine together and making it all pop off, but it all means nothing if I just get to sit there. I have to survive.
Yeah, the board politics. I love when people start, even when they're conspiring against me and they're making, he's going to do that. I'm like, we're getting serious now.
I love jumping in.
This is what I like. That's what I really like.
People conspiring against me, I'll be like, look, you guys know my deck building style, so there's a very good chance that kind of thing is in here. But I will reveal my hand if I need to tell you that it's not going to happen.
I'll tell them exactly what I'm going to do. One of the times I was accused of this, I was playing on a stream, by the way, with a streamer called Pixie Kitten Plays. Shout out if anyone remembers Pixie Kitten Plays. She's awesome. And I was playing a very cool and casual Negan deck. Negan had only been reprinted for a while, the first time.
Just one time, and then it
had recently been printed, So Dockside was still legal, and she was gonna ruin my board state, and I told her, listen, this is gonna kill me if you do this to me. So if you, I forget if she was gonna remove Negan or something. There was no way I was gonna be able to come back. I forget what it was, but I was like, if you do this, I'm going to respond with 3 Negan triggers, and I'm going to target you with every single one. And she did it, and I did it, and I kind of felt bad after.
I mean, it happens. It is. Yeah. It's going to be what it is. If someone gives you that warning, you are, first of all, you got the heads up.
And I will. I'm not above saying, hey, if you let me live, I'm not going to clap at you for the rest of the game. I'll get rid of everybody else before I go. I love that kind of deal for me. That's
really?
That's where it gets really spicy for me. I love stuff like that.
That is a spicy deal. A spicy deal. It's kind of like, hey, I'm going to leave you at 5 life, but you're my little minion. Yeah. I mean, it is kind of good.
And when people get into it, and they're doing all that. Yeah, it's really fun. I like
nice
to build around that idea. I like to put cards that are going to cause that kind of thing to happen.
Give me an example. What kind of card that you like?
I can't think of one off the top of my head. It'll be for example, I have a Shadrix deck that's all of that. Shadrix is a political commander, and it's all choosing who's gonna get what. Kind of like King. A lot of people get really mad at king making. I wouldn't say I do that, but I also don't have a problem with if somebody's dying, if them trying to throw all their resources to help somebody else win. I'm fine with that. That's never bothered me. I don't do it really. I'm more about going after whoever is eliminating me. But Shadrix is a good example where you put in a lot, where you just give choices to the board and decide what's going to happen kind of based on what the board state is and who's sitting at. Yeah, I know. It's so much fun.
Shadrix Silverquill is one of those commanders that every time I look at it for a little bit longer than I look at other cards. It's so fun. So much text on this thing. And it can be in your command zone. So you're like, maybe. It's an Orzhov. You're like, perfect.
Orzhov was my first love until Mardu.
I mean, I'm a Rakdos guy through and through.
Testa, the OG Testa is like, that was my first commander, and she's still one of my favorites,
man,
although she's kind of been
so
power
good.
crept out of relevance.
Sure, but she's still a combo machine. Love the OG Testa.
That's the only commander deck I have like all foiled out. I have right next to me.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Lizolda's mine. Of the things I could have foiled out, because like there's no foil version of the OG Phyrexian Tower.
Yeah.
But, you know,
that would be money.
Stronghold, not available. Badlands, not available foil. Whatever. But they're all in the deck.
Yeah.
Because it's the best
I think those are the
exists.
two that are not. And I was upset that I couldn't get a foil one of Scrubland. And then one year for Christmas, my wife got a Klug altar of Scrubland so that I could have like a special version of in there. Yeah. The coolest gift ever.
Yeah.
You got an Eric Klug altar? Where is she? Excuse me?
I've shown more.
Everybody came online for that moment.
I've never seen this. I mean, I need to see this. While Efren fishes out the Klug altar, I am going to mention Shadrick Silverquill. For those who don't know, here's why we're so stoked on this commander. It's a 2/5 legendary Elder Dragon, flying double strike. Okay, this thing wears equipment like a G, but you've also got at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may choose 2. Each mode must target a different player. Target player creates a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying, or target player draws a card and loses 1 life, or target player puts a +1/+1 counter on eeach creature they control.
That's a good time for me deciding, you take this, you take this. Yeah. Yeah, so here's the Klug altar. It's like like a Scrubland.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, beautiful.
That's awesome. If you could tell, it's like Van Gogh. The light is kind of messing with it. It's got like a
the light is not doing it any favors, but I can see
insane.
It's got like the Starry Night sky swirls kind of thing going throughout it.
It came in a little bit
gorgeous,
more, yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it's really like one of the favorite things
insane.
I own.
Unbelievable, man. Well, I think with that we move on to the submission. What do you guys think?
Mailbag. This
is a mailbag episode after all. So you know what? I'm gonna give the disclaimer later about the submission. But I've given it to Efren and Morgan, so they'll know. Here we go. So the submission is, hey Mike, long time, first time. I have a good friend of mine who's resisted magic for a long time. He finally made the plunge thanks to the I wish I was joking TMNT cards that have been spoiled. Since he's gone all out, he's bought 2 boxes of Lorwyn, precons from last year. He's built many, many decks on his Archideck page. He's all in now. It's a little overwhelming, to be honest, but he's a great guy, and I love finally having him play with us. There's only one problem. He gravitates toward playstyles that are largely taboo or disliked, like stacks and mass land destruction. He keeps asking why players don't like them, but I insist that he needs to play a few more games to understand other players and how they react to certain things. Am I the Bolas for insisting my friend sticks to the fundamentals? Also, please anonymize my submission. I decided to submit this without anonymizing myself and have now put it all on you, and you get to rewrite things like this last sentence where I call myself a poopy head. Please don't tell people my name is Fred. Thank you, not Fred.
Well, at least he apologized for having you do all that work.
Look, if you recognize yourself in the submission, thanks for writing in. But to be fair, the submission was 6 paragraphs long, and I did have to reformat it anyway. So I just ended up rewriting it with the crux of the question, completely anonymizing as much as I could because they requested at the end to anonymize. And their name isn't Fred or Poopyhead, but not Fred is what we're going to go with here. So this is a pretty good one, and I mentioned that I have some personal experience with this right now. I mentioned my buddy Max, who got into Lorwyn real big after I made him a deck for the Zagana deck because of the Lord of the Rings deal. He also has been going all out. He actually bought a Dragonstorm Precon, the Sultai Arisen deck, which out of the box absolutely was crazy. What an incredible precon. And then he also bought Tevil's insane.
Busted.
The other precon he bought was the Terra Herald of Hope from Final Fantasy. The Mardu deck, incredible.
That's the most busted deck I've ever played out of the box. I mean, I said this on the last episode where, and Efren, I'm not sure if you'd ever played against Dakota's 5-color Kenrith deck, my partner. It's a solid bracket 4.
It's a solid
That-
bracket 4.
That Terra deck, I don't even know. 6 turns, dead, done.
Unbelievable.
Off
Terra
the
the
top.
Final
Terra
Fantasy.
deck-
Oh, that one's fun.
Oh yeah,
That-
just
Yeah,
that
the
Marty
precon is insane.
insane, absurd. Like I'm just like, this is
Unbelievable card.
cracked beyond belief.
I played against it last year. I think Tony had it, and I wiped right on and bought it. I bought the collector's edition for more expensive because I was like, it's Mardu, and that is so cool what it does.
Oh yeah,
Perfect.
I'm on the hunt. I'm on the hunt for one for myself, honestly, because every time I think about it, I'm like, yeah, this deck, like out of the box,
And
is
it's
just
fun.
so strong.
It's
and so
fun. It's fun interactive
It's so
deck.
fun. It is so fun, and it's also, I think it's Final Fantasy VI, which I think is the most interesting of the Final Fantasies. I've never played any of the games, but I watch so many YouTube, like 8-hour long YouTube videos explaining the lore of each Final Fantasy, so I could appreciate the cards. And let me tell
Hell
you
yeah.
something: Final Fantasy VI, by a long margin, massive fucking mile. Sorry, Ken, is the most interesting of all the games. And anybody who wants to tell me otherwise, hey, look, you're right. Probably I didn't play them, but from an outsider's perspective, learning the story and the at what they did, like how it kind of ends midway and then it's not done, and you have to regain your entire part. Like everything about that one is so intriguing and fascinating. And that being the precon, I'm in. I'm totally in. Incredible deck, in and out. Anyway, Max picked that up, and we're playing this Sunday for the first time with it, and he's going to demolish us with it, I'm sure. He also built an Elves deck from Lorwyn Eclipse because he went to his first pre-release and pulled the Tristan, and I was like, you don't want Tristan in the command zone. There's so many Elf commanders. And he was like, no, now I'm going to kick your ass with this thing, and so that's who I'm dealing with. But he similarly will sometimes send us, like the group chat, like, hey, I'm thinking about building this legend. And we have to be like, buddy, people hate this guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't get it. It seems fun.
There's
And it is.
I have a funny story to share, that something similar to this that happened to me at a Magic Con last year, where I was sitting and waiting for a friend, and I had this couple come up to me because I was wearing my EDH shirt, and they always say like, oh, do you work for EDH Rec? And I was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. They said, oh, hey, we're new to Commander. And these people were like on. I mean, like they're playing games like every single day. They've got like a whole play group.
Fun.
They've got 100,000 decks, but they've only been playing Magic for maybe like 6 months. And I mean, these people are just cracked, like, you know 10,000 words a minute, telling me about their deck, telling me about this. But it is MLD. It is combo. It is just what we would call maybe cheesy kind of decks like that, where it's just like hugely overpowered. There's always a combo piece. There's always ways to get it. The games end up being kind of similar each time, and they're just like, can you believe that? And I'm like, girl, I can, but let me tell you, I hate it. And so I think there's like a pattern, and it's not a necessarily negative thing. It's just what you want to do, the powerful thing when you get into a game. You want to do something that seems fun, which is winning, right? It seems fun to just win all the time.
Right.
But over time, you eventually realize, especially with a format like Commander that's very social based, we ain't playing that deck every time. You know what? If you want to beat me in the face with this Terra deck, bring her out for a game, and then we're done, right?
Yeah.
It's already going to take us 20 hours to get there, but maybe if you bring her in, it's going to take 10, and we can play another one. So I think it's fine, personally, newer players to gravitate towards this stuff. It helps them kind of learn, I hope, sooner than later, that people don't always appreciate this stuff. I wouldn't even say it's taboo. It's just, I think people don't like it. I think you have to be very clear and comfortable and find a group of people. If you're all playing MLD, like, are you just racing to MLD until one of you wins?
Look, we know people who play MLD. The Hot Pepsi Armageddon crew loves their guy, Brandon. They made tokens of him. They're not kicking him out of anything. He'll play Armageddon without a backup plan, and he insists that I do the same. And I'm gonna. I'm gonna find a deck for it.
I have to say I'm a little sus of the person writing in here, and let me tell you why.
Okay.
They opened up with apologizing for the person liking the TMNT deck, right?
Oh, but this is me rewriting it, by the way.
Oh,
like,
okay. But was it another UB? Was there a different UB?
So this is the media spin.
This is me throwing in a joke because I needed to make it quick, and I was like,
I was gonna say, well, they consolidated. Okay.
No, I consolidated six paragraphs into like what I thought the thing was. I feel like it shouldn't be like that big a deal to say this. Okay, well, they got into it during Avatar, right?
That's the same thing. If people come in because I don't care about Avatar at all, like just like I don't care about Doctor Who and I don't care if you came into the game playing because of an IP that you
Sure.
love. That's fine with me. All the best cards are these IPs now. Those are all where all the exciting cards are. So
They figured it
they're
out.
excited
Yeah.
about Magic too, you know. So that's fine with me. And
Totally.
that makes me think, like, if they're judging on an avatar, then they might be judging their game style because they particularly don't like it. So
I'm putting my hands up on this one because they're not judging the. I put that in there because I thought, how can I change avatar to something that they won't recognize their friend got into?
I mean like playing archetypes that people don't particularly like.
Oh, okay, I see.
Because I would try to talk somebody out of playing anything with blue or green in it because I hate it. So I would totally be biased in giving that that advice.
I've been saying it for years.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd be like, if you play blue or green, people are gonna hate you. And in fact, I had this conversation with a new player like last year at my LGS who asked me to go help him learn. I was like, blue green, people aren't gonna like it. He's like, really? Who? I was like, me. I'm the one that's not gonna like it.
It's like when you tell a kid, like, oh no, you can't do that. Like, that's spicy or whatever. You're never gonna like that. Don't even try it. Like,
I would say they are the Bolas from just not letting their friend discover the game unfettered the way they had the opportunity to do it. That's in my opinion. Let them learn that they're going to be the jerk at the table. And then
that's a fair assessment. I think that, like, that's totally fair. I think that, yeah, they could be the Bolas here. They could also be, like, I understand where they're coming from. Again, personal experience being tied into this, I'm empathizing with the OP because not Fred is writing about his friend and I'm thinking about mine, right? My friend just today posted Umbris in the group chat, like, what do we think about this guy? And I'm like, Umbris Fear Manifest is a Crimson Vow commander that wasn't in any of the decks, but was just like one of these weird cards that they had in collector boosters or something. And it's a legendary nightmare horror for 3 black blue. And Umbris gets +1/+1 for each card your opponents own in exile. And that can be as whatever. But whenever Umbris or another nightmare horror you control enters, target opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a land. And that, often
is a nightmare horror.
That's
exactly. There's a lot of, it sucks to play against this deck, but it could also be like a fun clock that you could put on the deck if the deck is built in a way that's like not like a spamming horrors thing. Like it's possible to do this without it being a mess or a nightmare.
Yeah.
And so I had to explain to him, it's undoubtedly a cool card. I can see this design and go, that is powerful. That seems like it would be fun. The dynamics at the table would speed up. But what you don't know yet, because you haven't played enough Commander yet, is you don't know how emotionally invested these people are in playing their pretty cards. These people spend so much time. Exactly.
Thank you.
These people.
Thank you.
You don't just want to look at the pretty cards.
You don't have to anonymize me. You can say it.
No, that's right. Morgan wrote this a submission, 6 paragraphs long. I've condensed it. But the idea is, like, you don't want to sit down with people who are excited to play their pretty cards that they spent a pretty penny on and all this time, like, optimizing to their play level, and then have them turn cards over and over and then exile the top 10 cards of their library, and there goes the card that they're most excited about, and then it's followed by a land that they really needed because they've been mana screwed. So it's like there's things that happen in the game that, like, yes, you have to kind of shrug off and be like, that's magic, that'll happen. But sometimes you want to sit down and play against a deck that's not going to do that to you. And if you sit down with certain commanders, people are going to have their dander up. Similarly, when you tell somebody that there's going to be mass land destruction or stacks, they're going to come for you, or they're going to complain, or they might outright refuse to play against that deck. And what I think of when I'm telling my friend, like, maybe slow your roll, get some other games under your belt before you start going to the store and picking up singles for this deck that you don't know how it's going to play out, or you don't know the dynamics yet. I'm trying to protect them from that disappointment of showing up to a table and having people be like, hey, this deck doesn't technically fall under bracket 4, so it can't hang. And this deck is it's got like 3 game changers and stacks, so it doesn't live in bracket 2. But the rest of the cards seem like bracket 1 bullshit. You know what I mean? Sorry, Ken. So, like, I don't want somebody to show up and be like, hey, I don't know how to play against this deck. You're playing a bunch of stuff. It doesn't seem like you have a plan. You're not on the level. I don't think I want to engage with this. I want to protect my friend from that kind of rejection. And I can see that coming from not Fred. I can understand that, But I do think that there's something to be said for not letting him kind of like learn on his own. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and to your point, like I see this commander and it sucks, but I like to take commanders like this and make a worse version around it. Like I have a Tox rule. So I'll pick a thing like a Tox rule, or like I have both the Tox rule and a what's the ninjutsu ones that everybody hates? Yuriko. I have both of those decks, but
thought you
they're
hated
like
blue.
Well, with black.
Well,
that's
see, here's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Blue, but see, yeah, I will play blue, but I won't play counters. I won't put extra turns. My Tox rule one, I don't have a way to cheat them out. I don't have a lot of mana rocks and mana fixing, so I make it worse by making it really hard to cast him. And I tell that to everybody at the table, like, don't let it resolve, because I'll win if it resolves, but it's going to be hard for me to resolve it.
But that's the thing, right?
Yeah,
you know how to do that because you've been playing the game for a long time. You know
I learned how to do that because my
you know where to scale back.
Yeah, I learned from having bad interactions that I caused.
There we go. And so the thing is, the benefit of being friends with someone like myself or like the other people in the play group is that you get to ask these questions before you have the foot and mouth situation or like stepping in it kind of thing. Which is to say that, like, send me your deck list. I'll look it over. Like, let me see what commander you're gravitating towards. Here's a suggestion for one that I think might work towards the idea that you're building, but without ruffling feathers or, like, making the table hate you right away. You know what I mean? There's an element of, like, I do want to protect my friend, and I can see that coming from Not Fred as well. But I think that, like, there is something to be said for learning your lessons. Mm-hmm. But I think that's more like, to me, that's more like, if you misplay, that's a lesson you can learn. But if you're like showing up in a social dynamic game and you're showing up with like a strategy based deck versus the like, hey, a politics pod, like that's a different kind of lesson to learn that you can learn by talking to somebody instead of having to go through like, because I remember, man, sometimes, do you remember those games where like you feel like you've blundered so bad and it kind of sticks with you for like a week or two and you don't want to play anymore?
My second deck, so my first deck was Tesa, but I didn't know what I was doing. And my second deck was it was Brago. And I accidentally I played it one time and I accidentally completely locked the game down, and I also could not do anything to win or improve it, and it was miserable. And I learned my lesson that time. I felt really bad.
That's a Brago deck, baby.
And I never played with it again. It's still in the box, never touched. It's still in my drawer next to me.
The problem is I love Brago. Like, I think Brago's a fun card. I'm with it.
I hate blue-white.
I mean, that's fair. The thing is, I've been also coming around to like mass land destruction and stacks as things that I'm okay with seeing a little bit more often, in the sense that like maybe I don't play it, but I know how to handle myself if it happens. Just give me a heads up. You know what I mean? Like, don't make it like
you a farewell
like a
apologist?
surprise.
What's going on? What's going on here?
No, sorry, Ken. Farewell.
I was like, where does the buck stop here with the MLD?
Farewell. Sorry, Ken, a million times. Farewell. Sorry, Ken.
Okay.
Farewell messes with my graveyard on top of everything. It's not like, it's just like such a full-on reset button, whereas like Armageddon, chances are you're playing it, there's creatures on the board. There's still some action there. You know? Chances are you're playing it with a plan. There's still some action there. Stacks, you got to pay a little bit more. You manage your resources a little bit differently. You know what I mean? There's a fun puzzle element to it. So I'm thinking like maybe that's something I'd like to dip my toe into and play a little bit more of, but I don't think that it's something that I necessarily want to build, you know? So when I played, this is a long time ago, this story comes up a lot, but like when I played Don, the founder of EDH Rec and all that, he played his Iroas God of Victory deck, where he plays Jockle Hops and Armageddon, MLD out the wazoo, so he can pump his commander up with equipment and in auras and just like come smack for damage. And it's like a Voltron deck with MLD, and that's that. And I was playing Prosper at the time, and I had exactly what I needed to be able to survive a couple more turns and maybe rebuild a little bit and present a threat to Don, even though he still handedly won that game in the end. I thought it was impressive that I could pull something out, and I felt very good about the fight I put up, you know? So I think that there's something rewarding in that kind of, in those kind of moments, but you're not going to always have that kind of moment. It's just that if you're ready if you're like thinking, okay, I can give it a try, yeah, give it a try. It's like you're not gonna ruin anybody's day if you're going in with like an open discussion of, hey, I've been thinking about doing this. I kind of want to dabble. If anybody has any objections, I'll put it away. But otherwise, if we're all for it, let's be for it. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
We're all adults here. Hope we're not necessarily kids play this game. God, I started this when I was 10. Does anybody else want to go to bed at 8 p.m.?
I try to go to bed early, and then I end up waking up early, and then it ruins my sleep.
Yeah, same. I don't like it either.
Yeah, that makes you feel too grown up, I think, when you wake up early. You're just like, what if we didn't do that?
Sorry. I'm sorry, 7 a.m.? That's going to the airport time. That's the only time that happens.
Somebody who's like 60 years old plus wakes up at 7 a.m. You know, not a young and sprightly.
My 65-year-old father brags to me all the time about the fact that he wakes up at 4 p.m. And then my mom will always chime in and say, he wakes up at 4 and goes to sleep on the couch for 2 hours. He puts on the news and falls back asleep. He's not waking up at 4. And I'm like, yeah, that's psychotic. I remember when I went back to my parents' place when COVID first hit, and I moved back in with my folks for 2 weeks, and I was like, well, I'm home. I'm going to work out all day, do like nothing at home, and just kind of like watch stuff, write stuff, work on jokes or whatever I need to do. And then, you know, that period got longer and I got so depressed. I did not leave the house for months because I was afraid I was going to die. But the point of this is that, like, at one point, I just started going to bed at like 4 o'clock, and I would meet my dad on the way up to bed, and he was coming down, and he'd be like, what are you doing? And I'm like, what are you doing? Go back to sleep. You're going to sleep on the couch. This isn't crazy. I have nothing going on. I don't leave the house because I can't.
It's Bolus
I have
behavior.
a respiratory issue. I'm dying. Like, what do you want from me? Anyway, all that said, I can empathize with Not Fred here. I can empathize with him. Thanks for not. Yeah. I'm glad I anonymized it because it was so much shorter of a submission. That's what I'm happy with. But by the way, hey, Not Fred, thanks for writing in. If you recognize yourself, I'm glad you did. If you don't, well, lost to time, I'll say. But
anonymization. Success.
It worked.
If you don't recognize yourself.
So exactly. Let's go down the line and find out where people land on this submission, whether or not Fred is the bolus for this submission. Let's start with Efren. Efren, would you like to tell us your opinion on whether or not Fred is the bolus?
In my opinion, Not Fred is the bolus. Because to me, the discovery phase of Magic is the most fun and exciting, and I feel like he might be impeding that based on his own feelings about certain deck types, as I would. I'm no better than the person writing in, okay? I will do the same thing, and I have done
That's fair. I mean, I'm in the same boat. I'm literally doing it now. Maybe I'll change what I'm up to. Okay, Morgan, what about you, buddy?
Not the bolus. And I say that because and I mean, you know, this is media spin here. So take what I say with a grain of salt, because this is Mikey doing some propaganda for Not Fred.
Oh, come on now.
But I like this idea of like just giving somebody encouragement, saying like, you know, folks probably aren't going to like this and here's why. And like giving them that like note before they go into it is good. I don't want to like throw anybody into the deep end with stuff like this, but it's like, hey man, I told you so. You know, then it's not the bolus. Not the bolus.
I don't know where I land, because as much as I see myself in this, Efren's argument for the discovery phase is quite good. I mean, there is the thing is about the discovery phase, to me, it should be more mechanical than it should be from, I don't know, the weird Magic has accrued many strange social customs and unspoken agreements that were all kind of like first of all, the fact that we have to have a bracket system to help us figure things out means that the game has come so far and so long, and everybody's entitled to their own flavor of Magic, to the point where, like, hey, maybe if Max, I'm talking about my friend Max, not anonymizing him. Hey Max, if you're listening to this, I told you you'd be brought up at some point. But the idea is, like, if Max wants to play this style and I don't like this style, we don't have to play Magic together. He comes over anytime he wants to hang out anyway. It's not like I'm losing my buddy. It's just that he's gonna be playing a different kind of Magic, and if he discovers that on himself on his own, or if he finds out that people don't like this play style and he pivots from that, that's all well and good. But I do think that warning him of that possibility, and knowing that he'll make the decision at least a little bit more informed. I feel like, oh man, I'm really in between on this one. And of course I'm coming to it with a bias, and I've talked about it the entire time. So I think I'm just going to lean into my bias and say not the Bolas, because that would admit that I'm the Bolas in my own situation. But I do think that I can, it's fun. Okay. So this is why I picked the submission, is that I think it's fun to be able to immediately internalize a lesson from a submission, because not only is the listener engaging with what the submission is, or what the whoever is sending it in, the reader or whatever is submitting to me, I'm also going to be taking it in. You know what I mean? The conversation we had a couple weeks ago about the brackets not being perfect, I'm stewing on that. I'm thinking on ways to maybe identify similar things that have come up in both my life and theirs. I'm taking a lot from this submission, and I'll say it is one that I want to say not the Bolas, but I definitely want to lean in here and say, Efren, you might be right about the discovery phase being pretty important, and that's swaying me big time. So maybe not the Bolas, but somebody who isn't necessarily the best person in the story. I think it's the intention is great, but the effect might be more damaging. And it's have you seen My Strange Addiction? This is a crazy twist, but My Strange Addiction, my girlfriend and I just got Discovery Plus so we can watch this cult documentary. Shout out to Moses Storm. Can't believe you went through that, buddy. That's crazy. Another comedian, buddy. But anyway, my girlfriend and I got it to watch this cult documentary, and then we were like, what else is on here? And we watched a little bit of My Strange Addiction. And what happens is we watched this episode where a woman was eating plastic. She just kept eating plastic. She would bite little plastic swords from drinks and stuff. And
is that the one where she started eating her remote control?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah.
I did see that one. Yes.
Is it the same episode
eating
of the woman?
The remote for her television?
Yeah. It's different kinds of pica, or is it pica or pica? I never know. But the idea, that's the same episode as the woman who washed herself with bleach, and that's an insane thing to do. But this woman has got this I'm gonna go pica with eating plastic, and the idea is she's just been doing it for so long. She was a child when she started. She's now an adult. She's 18, 19, and they take it to a doctor, and the doctor's like, hey, so you have this mass of plastic that is pierced through something, and it's accumulating here, and it could get worse and you might die. So we're gonna need to see you again. We need you in the hospital, but also please stop eating plastic. And she literally was like, I hadn't thought about it that way. And now that I know, I'm gonna stop. And she did. She stopped eating plastic. And so to me, reading the submission, speaking to you, Efren, and you, Morgan, and talking about it some more, I'm over here being I hadn't considered the discovery phase and having that social stepping in it being part of the discovery phase. And I feel maybe I'm taking that away from my friend, and that kind of sucks. So I will say, there's a light Bolas here, but maybe who's a character in Magic who unintentionally was the Bolas? You know what I mean? Someone who trusted Stark, who became a shapeshifter, shapeshifted as Miri, was it? I don't remember who it was. The Wrath Cycle. God, whatever. Point is, I don't remember who intended well but messed up off the top of my head.
Did Raul Zarek intentionally open up everything for Bolas to come in War of the Spark, or was he tricked into doing that? I heard somebody say that they thought he was tricked. Was it him or
there
Tez?
we go.
Somebody's he must be. Oh, they really conned him into doing that. I was like, okay, I don't read a lot of the lore. I was like, oh, that sounds okay. That sounds good. So
either way, that guy. That's we're not the Bolas, maybe the Raul Zarek or something.
Yeah, okay.
Unintentional Bolas, unintentional bad guy. Learn from it. Look, you're anonymized so much here. I hope you still recognize yourself in it. And not to throw shade of the TMNT cards, but it is kind of funny. I'm sticking by that joke.
Pizza
I'll yuck that yum. Exactly why I'm yucking the yum. A lot of designs are cool, though.
Pizza Lands.
I can admit that.
The Pizza Lands
Before
are
we
crazy,
go,
man.
I hate the pizza lands. It's at the end. The episode is done. We can't do this now. I'm not doing
I
this now.
love the pizza lands.
Morgan, any pizza land I open, I will send to you, but not before I deface them. I will draw
Perfect.
all over those things.
Beautiful.
Draw her least
Perfect.
favorite pizza topping onto the.
Yeah. What is that? Hot banana peppers.
Anchovies.
And
Hot banana
All
pepper.
right.
You put those on there, I'll eat the damn card.
Okay, I'm sending it with a jar.
Wait, I just tricked
card.
myself. I just played
That's
myself.
New
Morgan
Patreon
reminded
perk when
me.
we launch. Yeah, exactly.
Morgan reminded me in the early days of CardSphere, I used to have a pack opening channel on YouTube. The videos are still up. That's where I got Pack Crack Fever as the name. And so I got the idea of opening CardSphere mail. So people would start sending me like wacky stuff in the mail. And somebody sent me a piece of bacon one time and I ate it.
That's so crazy.
No, no.
Ew. That's messed up.
It was
God,
good.
it
was good. It was crispy.
Don't try
man.
this at home,
I don't
folks.
regret it.
Don't send anybody bacon. Unless it's Efren, because I guess he'll eat it.
Yeah,
I'll eat
exactly. If you haven't used CardSphere, maybe you want to start to help Efren out with whatever medical bills might come. For God's sake, CardSphere.com. Use the referral link in the description. CardSphere, get your cards here. Of course, promo code Bolcast over at boneboxgames.com. You can find the podcast at Am I the Bolcast over on Blue Sky and wherever you listen to your podcast. Obviously, you found us and you're listening to us here. If you're on a platform where you can like or subscribe, please do that. If you are not, you can leave a review, tell people that you like us. And before we get out of here, I want to ask everybody where you can find them. Morgan, where would you like people to find you?
I'm on Blue Sky with my hot bad takes at Indigo Gentleman, and also check out EDHrec.com for articles every day, Monday through Friday. Fun stuff.
Hell yeah. And Efren, you've mentioned that you are a Class A lurker on these platforms, but is there anything besides CardSphere.com that you want people to check out?
Yeah, aside from CardSphere, you can follow me on Blue Sky if you want. I rarely post or anything, but I am on there. And check out when I have time. Maybe like one time a month if I'm lucky. I do write satire at Commander's Herald every once in a while. So when check out over there. If you're not reading my stuff, there's a lot of really funny stuff over there. So I would say visit Commander's Herald.
CommandersHerald.com, where I got my start, and that's where Am I the Bolas came from. Before moving over to EDHrec.com, you can keep up with the series over on EDHrec.com. Every Wednesday, a new article by your boy. Don't forget, you also have the archive over on CommandersHerald.com. You can go over there and read those articles, kick those guys a couple views too. I'll be happy about it. They'll be happy about it, and I hope you will be too. I'm Mike Carrozza at MikeCarrozza. You can find me on all platforms with my name, and I've got a Linktree, I've got a website, I've got stand-up comedy album, videos on YouTube, and of course, this podcast. If you have a story that you want to share, send it over to amithebolas@gmail.com. And if you want to come see a show and don't know when or where, just message me. I'll tell you more. If you want to be on the podcast or have any idea who you'd like to be on the podcast, send me a suggestion. Why not? amithebolas@gmail.com. Very, very easy to send an email. And I think with that, we say thank you, Ken. Sorry, Ken. And it's time to scoot the day. All right. Later, everybody.